Hello, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and welcome to my March 2025 container garden tour. So I'm starting off here in my backyard because this is where a majority of my containers are, and I'm not completely done, but I have potted a lot of things up and ready to show you what I've got, including some winter sown seedlings that I am in the process of growing and trying to figure out places for and potting up and all kinds of things. So I will show you all of that. First, let me start with this container. It's actually in my garden. This is a full sun garden bed in my backyard, and I have decided to put a container right in the middle of it, very large, and it has a Limelight standard hydrangea that I am just training. It was grown or propagated. It's 2 years old from a propagation, and last year it was nice and big and bushy and beautiful, except that there was one single stem that came up, and it was absolutely perfect to start training into a Limelight hydrangea standard or tree form. And so that's exactly what I decided to do. And it had all of these growths that were coming up at every single node, and also growths from the bottom. And I see two more that I could pinch, but I just pinch those off as soon as I see them so that it doesn't grow where I don't want it to grow. Where I want it to grow is here at the very top of the stem. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 that are going to become the base of this Limelight tree. I might get rid of these two at the bottom and only keep the top 4. I haven't quite decided yet, but for now they're doing good, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. I've also got this tomato cage around it, and it's kind of I've put a little, these are garden, pins or whatever that I've put around that. And then I'm kind of staking it to this tomato cage. And then as these branches grow, I'm going to make sure they stay upright because they do get weighed down really easily, especially with that new growth. I'm going to stake them up here so that they're growing in an upright habit as opposed to lateral or even flopping down. And you don't want that because what happens this season forms the shape of the tree. So I want to make sure that all of those branches are upright and staked, at least for this season, and then next season we can probably let go a little bit. And that's my first container. It also has some bluebonnets that were planted from seed in the fall, and they're a little slow growing, but I think the bud is coming right here. There's another bluebonnet and another bluebonnet, but that's a little pansy that reseeded itself from another container, and a pansy and a pansy. It's so fun, but I'm leaving those, and that will be a super fun container. If you want to know what's all is in this garden bed, I did do a March backyard garden tour. So I'll pop the link up above on the right hand corner if you want to click on that, and I'll tell you all about what's growing in here. But this is the container garden tour. So I'm going to move forward to this container. I have 2 of these, one on each side of this little rounded portion of my patio. And right now, they are full of matrix pansies, and they are just the prettiest pansies ever. I love this color. Oh, and look at these guys. Oh, they are just so beautiful. I love pansies, and they're not going to make it too much longer. You can see the foliage is kind of starting to turn yellow. It's getting hot. I mean, right now, it's supposed to be, I think, 80 degrees today, and we've even had one day up in the 90s already, and today is March 30th, one of the last days of March, but we are getting warm really, really quick. And so these guys, they're cool season annuals, and they're beautiful all winter long. Here's Gummy, my puppy, saying hi. Hey, Gummy. Oh, well, anyway, they're beautiful all winter long, and I'm ready. Even though they're looking glorious right now, I do need to plant. I have plans for this container and you'll see in probably a future container garden tour. But for now, it's beautiful with all of these lovely little pansies. Now, this container, it started off 3 years ago as a baby blue agave. I don't know what variety it is, but it was given to me as a little baby like 3 years ago, and I've kept it in this pot ever since. It's honestly been pretty dang tough, except that I have a backyard garden cat, Chloe, and a backyard puppy. Well, the puppy comes inside with us too. And I've caught both of them like chewing on the ends of these, and the cat uses it as her little chin scratching post. And so this agave has seen better days. I feel like it's on its way out, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a chance, but if it doesn't, you know, get going here as it's warming up, then I'll just take it out and put something new there. Over here, I have my herb garden pot, and this was just started last year, and honestly, the mint is just taking over everything now. So there is a strawberry planted in here, but all of this is peppermint, and it was not planted there. The peppermint started off here, and then I had this, which is apple mint, started off there. And then now the peppermint's coming up through the top, and the apple mint's coming up all through every single hole, it seems like. But I do have 2 herbs that have survived and come back, and that is lemon thyme right there. Oh my gosh, if you guys see lemon thyme in the stores, pick some up. It smells so good. It's super tough, and it overwinters for us, and it's amazing as a cooking herb, like in everything you could think of. But lemon thyme, oh, it's wonderful. And then I have oregano right over there that is coming back really, really, really well. So happy about those things. I had tricolor sage somewhere back there, but it has not come back. I didn't think it would. It struggled all season long. Ha 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 ha! Here is my desert rose. She is gorgeous. She's not looking her best at the moment. She was overwintered in my home because they do not survive our winters at all. So you have to bring them inside if you want to keep them alive. But lots and lots of new growth for her. And I expect pretty soon she'll probably be putting on some buds. Actually, I wonder if that's a bud right there. I think it is, to be honest. So she's coming back, and she just has this amazing bulb. This is a great plant, and I've got some babies because she's given me seed pods that I have been able to grow some seedlings with, and I'll show you those as well. Over here, this is Mr. Goodbud sedum. It's very much like Autumn Joy sedum, but I think, in my opinion, the flowers are a brighter pink, purple, and I feel like the foliage is this beautiful blue-green color, and I kind of prefer the foliage, too, of Mr. Goodbud as opposed to Autumn Joy. Autumn Joy was what I was going for, but when I saw Mr. Goodbud, I was like, I like this one even more, so I got it. And the reason this one's in a pot is because I transplanted this guy. That's the Mr. Goodbud sedum right there. I transplanted him. He was in a different location, didn't like it. When I did, like part of the root, like just a very little tiny bit of the root broke off. And so it was perfect for just potting this up, and it's done really, really well and come back. I also tried cuttings. I know a lot of you will say you can also just do cuttings and they'll grow really, really great from cuttings. None of my cuttings took. None of them. Only the one that actually had a little bit of roots took. So anyway, my experience, that's it. So here is a very large container that I have right here in the middle of my patio. And I've honestly been like racking my brain trying to figure out how I wanted to plant this. I have lots and lots of winter sown seedlings. So I don't want to go to the stores and, buy, all of the annuals that can get a little bit pricey, to be honest. And so I winter sowed a lot of things, and then now I've got so many things. I was like, well, how am I going to even put this together? Where am I going to put everything? So I had some ideas, and then today it all came to me, and I think it's going to be gorgeous. So here we go. This center plant is Verbena bonariensis. This plant is going to get huge and give us these beautiful, like purple lollipop kind of blooms. So this thing's going to go way up. So that's the thriller of this arrangement. And it is a perennial for us, and Texas native. I'm really excited. I've never grown Verbena bonariensis before. I grew them from seed in winter sowing. They did lovely. I'll show you the rest of the container. And so super excited to have that in there. And then to go around, I have 3 zinnia cupcake mix. So 1, 2, and 3. They were just planted today. So, you know, I've watered them in, but we're getting into the afternoon now. So if they look like they're struggling just a little bit, that's why. And also, you'll also notice that I pinched these, or most of these. Actually, I probably could go ahead and pinch that one. I didn't pinch that one because it was too little at the time, but I'm going to pinch that while you guys are watching. So if you guys haven't heard of this, pinching zinnias is something that a lot of gardeners do, and we do it in order to make the zinnias grow branchier and more low growing, as opposed to just one stem that goes up and gives you like one flower at a time. We want them to be branching off. We want them to give us multiple blooms, all of those things. So when they're growing as seedlings, you want to pinch them off to encourage more branching. So how you do that is they need at least 2 true sets of leaves. So here, these 2 leaves right here are the first 2 sets of leaves, and then these 2 sets of leaves are the second true set of leaves, okay? And then once it forms like the stem above that, you just go in and you pinch it off. And I do it with my nail because I do have nails. And now you can see that has been pinched off. So what that will encourage, instead of, you know, one stalk coming from that, there will be multiple stalks coming from there. It's already kind of doing that on its own. I think I see a little stalk down there, but this will just make for a much nicer, more compact zinnia, hopefully, and they'll be happy for that. And then this one I did not pinch off. This is where I get like, is it too early to pinch it off, because it hasn't quite formed that stem above the second true leaf. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. I've done it to a few. I've done them before, but you just get down as far as you can and just pinch that off. Hang on. Did not do it all the way. There we go. All right. So that one's now pinched off as well. So it might set growing back just a teeny tiny bit, but it is well worth it in the end. And we're just at the very beginning of this growing season, so I'm totally cool letting these guys, you know, branch out before they bloom. And so I have, these are cupcake mix zinnias, and then I have 1, 2, they are Gomphrena globosa mix. So it could be purple, it could be white, it could be pink, I'm not sure, but I've got 2 of those growing right there. And then I have 1, 2, 3 bunnytail grass. So this is so fun. I've done a video on bunnytail grass actually 2 years ago. And I do have a video on that. I'll pop that link on the screen if you want to watch it. But I grew them with Gomphrena before. It was just bunnytail grass and Gomphrena. It was a fabulous combination, really great texture. And this bunnytail grass is the softest grass you'll ever feel. Even before it puts on the little bunnytail blooms. It's so soft. Such a nice little sensory garden kind of thing. And I love having it. And my seeds are 2 years old. So I thought, well, I do have a little bit more. I can try winter sowing these, and they winter sowed pretty well, even though the seeds were 2 years old. So just an FYI, they were from Botanical Interests, and yeah, I got quite a bit of this bunnytail. So I'm excited. I think that will be a really fun mix. These are all going to be kind of on the tall side, especially the verbena, the bunnytails, the Gomphrena, and I think the cupcakes will get the zinnia cupcakes will get pretty big too. So I'm really looking forward to see how this container turns out. And over here we have my strawberry container and it's putting on tons of blooms. We're getting ready to get lots of strawberries. I think I saw one in here forming already. Yeah, there's a strawberry. We're already getting some. So excited about that. I have a blue bonnet growing in here. I just didn't have space for it, so I popped it in there. And then I have a balloon flower planted right here in the middle of this, so it's coming on. It's like it's growing quick, and that'll add some nice purple flowers with strawberries all around it. I really kind of like that. So yeah, there's that one. If you're wondering what this is, this, you kind of can't see anymore, but this is, I need to turn this around, honestly, so that we can see it. But this is a tribute to our dog Roscoe, who passed away a year ago, this month actually, and he was 15 years old, or almost there. And so my niece actually bought this for me from Etsy. It says Roscoe 2009 to 2024, and it's just kind of his little memorial in our garden. It's so sweet. Coming along down here, this is a Blue Days Evolvulus that I overwintered in my home and then brought it back out, and it's, you know, it's doing pretty good. It tried to bloom for me, but that bloom didn't quite make it. I'm not sure what happened, but it's got good growth, seems to be doing good, so that's exciting. This container, woohoo, is a hardy hibiscus in the center. So this is a summer carnival hardy hibiscus. If you look right down there, it's coming back. I'm so excited. This one took forever the last 2 years to come back, the first 2 years that I had it. And this has variegated foliage. It's just kind of always struggled, and so I'm really shocked to see it coming back super early this year. Maybe it'll do so much better, I don't know. But planted around it are bluebonnets, and look what I have just today, y'all. Just today I've got some bluebonnets that are starting to flower, so that's really exciting. I have multiple blooms coming. That one is almost ready to start putting on that blue color as well. So again, I got these, you know, I just seeded them in the fall, and they're coming up really well. And then this guy is a baby crepe myrtle. It's purple. The blooms are purple, and it was a seedling that was growing in my yard 2 years ago that I just thought, oh, I wonder if I could keep this alive if I put it in a pot. And here it is. And I don't really have room for it anywhere. I don't have full sun locations left anywhere in my garden. But I mean, as long as it's happy in a pot, I'll keep it. I may sell it. I don't know, or give it away to somebody who wants it. But for now, she's coming out. She's doing really good, and she'll stay there for now. And then I have one more container of those beautiful matrix pansies. Same container that I showed you. These actually are a little bit fuller, it seems like, and not struggling, so that's kind of cool. But again, those will come out fairly soon so that I can make room for more of my seedlings that I need to pot up. So coming over here, this whole container, these are my Sweet William seedlings. I try to grow Sweet William from my seeds every year, just because the seed variety is spectacular. I can't buy them in the stores. They're not the same. It's a very tall variety of Sweet William, and it's remarkable. It's a biennial plant, which is why I grow the seeds every year. So at any time, my adult Sweet Williams could die because they are over 2 years old, because they're biennial. And so when they do die, I'm growing these. These will not flower this year, but next year they will. So I'm growing them for the foliage. They stay evergreen for us, by the way, so that's really fun. I love that they can stay evergreen. And then they bloom beautifully in April for me. Mine are about to put on their blooms. I'm really, really excited about them. But anyway, I'm going to try to grow seeds every year so that I can just keep replacing them and keep adding them to my garden because I love them that much. Here is another container, again, just planted today. So if they look like they're like, it's getting hot out here, so they're just planted and watered in, don't worry. But I have Creeping Jenny that I don't know if this will survive. This is a Creeping Jenny that was in a big, maybe gallon size. I paid, I think, $12.99 for a big Creeping Jenny, and my thought process was it's cheaper to buy a big one that I can divide in multiple pieces for multiple containers than buy the small ones at $3 a piece. And so that's what I did. And again, like this is a learning experiment, and they're not super happy being divided right now, but we'll see if I can keep them alive. You'll see another one in another pot. But anyway, the main star of this show is Coreopsis Incredible Swirl. I can pop a picture of what this will look like, but this was a very strong seedling that grew for me from being winter sown, and I didn't have room in the garden for it, but I do want a lot of these so that if things die in the garden, I can replace it with Coreopsis. And these are just so pretty. It's white with like a pink or purple center. I think they're going to be really pretty, but that's going to be a really cute little container, I think. Okay, so I'm moving on to these containers. However, I just want to show you these. This is Tangerine Beauty Crossvine. Not a container, I realize, but since it's in absolute glory right now, I needed to show you, because in my March backyard garden tour, these were all budded up, but none of them were flowering yet. And just look, oh my goodness. And you can even see, like, there's hundreds of buds still left, but when you look at this plant, it's just absolutely gorgeous, y'all. So I just had to call attention to that. I feel like I need to do another backyard garden tour just to show these to y'all, but you know, you can see them in my container garden tour. They're just absolutely beautiful. This is quite a treat every year, and it sporadically blooms the rest of the year, just not like this. Like, it's absolutely covered in hundreds and hundreds of blooms. Just absolutely beautiful. But moving on to the containers. So another container that I just designed today again is this one. So this one has Rudbeckia, and then it has Azuratum Leda right here, and an Azuratum Leda right here, and then it has a Billy Buttons or Craspedia right here, and another Billy Buttons or Craspedia there. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Again, you know, they're not in full glory because these guys are just little seedlings at the moment, but I think when these are in bloom, they will be absolutely spectacular. It'll be a lot of yellows and blues, so super excited about that. And then this one is a large container, but it is sparsely planted, and there is a reason for that. This star of the show is this Amaranth Love Lies Bleeding. And yes, it's been eaten. I actually planted this a few days ago, 3 days ago, and I don't know if my dog is eating it. I don't know if the cat is eating it or something else. But I do have more of these seedlings, so if this guy doesn't survive being eaten like this, then I can pop another one in its place and that won't be a problem. But this is an absolutely beautiful plant. I've always wanted to grow it, to be honest, and when I found the seeds for like $2.99 for the seed packet, I thought, yes, I'm winter sowing, this will be perfect. And they have winter sown beautifully, by the way. Really great winter sowing plant. And yeah, they grow really, really fast. This is going to be huge, full of these like plumes that just kind of feather off. Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. So that's just because it's going to get so huge. I didn't want to really put anything else in here, but this guy was a volunteer, and I'm almost certain it's a passion vine, which I have some of these like growing wild in my garden, so it's not a surprise that it would pop up in one of my containers. But the Gulf fritillary butterflies breed, they lay their eggs on this plant, and then the caterpillars eat it. And so I'm growing it, I'm letting that grow, and it can eventually go on this trellis if it needs to, but if it doesn't get eaten by caterpillars first. But so far, nothing's eating it, so I'm going to let it grow there. And then, of course, part of that creeping Jenny plant is here. So hoping that it doesn't die off, that it takes to being divided well, but only time will tell. And then moving to this is kind of just a staging place for this. This is Vinca variegated Vinca major or periwinkle. This is a ground cover. It's a very vigorous ground cover. So if you plant this in your garden, just expect that eventually it will take over. And that's kind of why this is here. So it was in a spot in my front garden that I did not want it to be growing in. It sent like a vine shoot, and then it rooted itself in an area of my garden I didn't want it to be in. So I just pulled up that root and stuck it in a pot here, and I took a portion of it and put it in a different container. I'm going to show you that container in a moment, because these actually look really cool as the spillers in containers, or just in, you know, just as interest in other containers. So it's kind of a place where I can keep it alive and figure out what to do with it later, kind of thing. So that's what we're doing there. Moving on to this rectangular container. This one I have had here for several years, and it has become my limelight hydrangea propagating station, because I've been successful propagating limelight hydrangeas from cuttings here for 3 years. Well, this will be my 3rd year in a row doing this. So these are cuttings from the limelight that I showed you at the very beginning of that video. I told you I'm tree forming it into a standard, so I had a lot of cuttings from it, and I just have plopped them. Well, I let them dry out on the porch here for 2 weeks, and that was in dead winter. Like, this was late winter that I did this. Let them dry out for 2 weeks, and then I stuck them in the soil. And this one's kind of got a curved thing, that's why that one's curved, but quite a majority of them are leafing out. This one is, that 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 one is, and that one is. Oh my goodness. Oh, and I think this one even has some growth as well. The big one that I was like, ooh, I wonder how that's going to do, isn't. But anyway, that's kind of just how it goes. But that doesn't mean that I have been successful and that these are growing roots. I'll just let y'all know that. It means that the stem is still alive and it's trying to, like, you know, get photosynthesis done, which is good, but you have to just leave them alone for the entire growing season. And then in the fall, I will dig these up and see which ones rooted themselves and which ones didn't. Because I have found that even when they leaf out like this, that doesn't mean they're going to survive. And so last year, I only had one out of all of these survive. But I haven't been this successful ever before in terms of, like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them have leafed out. And that's, 8. Yeah. So this is a good sign. It just doesn't mean that it's going to root. I just have to leave them alone, make sure they stay in a moist environment, you know, they don't dry out completely, and then we'll go from there and see what they look like in the fall and which ones have rooted and which ones have not. So that's super fun. Sometimes I put Chinese forget-me-nots in here. I put a bluebonnet in here. I don't want to grow too much. This is wild. I don't know what this is, but that's a weed. I don't want to grow too much in there because I want the roots to form of, you know, in the limelights. So I don't want like too much competition in there, but I will probably plant a couple of things in there and see what happens. And then coming over here, this is a baby little lime hydrangea that I propagated last year. So I had a little lime hydrangea. Long story short, it died, but I did propagate it last year. That's kind of, actually it grew right there and propagated, and in the fall I moved it on over. It had a great root system, and then here it is, a successful plant. So that just kind of shows you the process of, you know, I can't always get limelight hydrangeas to survive here in North Texas. It's pretty hot for them. Even though they say they need full sun, it doesn't mean full Texas sun, because that's a completely different story. And so part sun ones are the ones that typically survive better for me. And this is more of a part sun location because it gets shaded for a good part of the day. I would say we get about 6 hours of sun here. So it's on the border of a part sun / full sun location, which is perfect, I have found, for limelight hydrangeas. So this is where I do all of the babies so that I can get them growing and good, and then put them other places or keep them where they're at. I don't know. But this is a little lime, so I'm super happy that I was able to get this propagated, because I lost my big plant last year. It did not survive, and so I at least have its baby. So moving on here, I have a container here that has star jasmine, which a lot of it survived and some of the branches did not survive, but a lot of the branches I didn't even think survived have new growth on them. So that's super fun, and that means that I will get flowers pretty soon, because this is the time that the jasmine will start flowering, and it will grow up this pole. And then here I have foxtail ferns that I got on clearance at H-E-B. That was my H-E-B shopping trip. If you want to check that out, I will do the link to that video up in the right hand corner if you want to check it out. And then here again is where I popped some of that variegated Vinca major that I pulled out of my front bed where I didn't want it, and then popped it in this container. I think it looks great with the foxtail ferns, honestly. I'll move on to these in just a sec. These are my winter sowing things that I'm working on. And then I have this one that I just did yesterday. This is begonias. I did these begonias in my side yard, but I had like 4 left over. So 3 of them are in this container, and actually I had 5 left over because 2 of them I popped in my front garden today. But again, here's that variegated Vinca major, and it's kind of starting that whole spill thing for this container. And I think it will do well here. And then let me show you these gorgeous fuchsia plants that I have as my hanging containers. They are spectacular. I bought these at H-E-B. So again, check out that video. They were $14.96 each, I think. $15 a piece. And it's questionable if fuchsia will survive our summers here because it is so hot. I have been successful one summer with purchasing a hanging basket exactly like this one, exact same variety, and I was successful in getting all 3 of them to last all summer long until frost, and they looked beautiful. Then the next year I tried hanging baskets with fuchsia again, but I couldn't find these. I actually found, smaller ones and thought that would be cheaper, and then I planted them inside of the cocoa liners. And I don't know if it was the cocoa liners. I don't know if it was because it was a different variety or if it was because I bought smaller ones and put them together. One of those factors did not agree with the fuchsia, and the fuchsia did not grow well for me at all. But I replicated to the exact T how I had success that one summer, and we're just gonna see. So far they're loving life and they're absolutely beautiful, and I've already seen my first hummingbird feasting on these guys. Hummingbirds love fuchsia, and the hummingbirds are just now coming into our area. Some people are like, oh, I just saw one yesterday. Well, I saw one a week ago. It's the only one I've seen so far, but he feasted on that little flower right there, and I was standing like right here doing some of my planting, and he was just right by me feasting away. It was fabulous. It was so great. But anyway, those fuchsia hanging baskets, I'm super excited about those. I hope that they last the entire summer because they are absolutely gorgeous. All right, y'all, I'm coming over here to show you all my winter sown things that I have left. I put a lot of them into the gardens, containers out front, but I still have so much left. That's what happens when you winter sow 49 different types of flowers. Oh my goodness. It's one of those things where it sounds great in your head and you want to try all of these things. And then once it all happens, you're like, what am I going to do with all of this? So yeah, a lot of them that I've already planted these are all my extras. Like I've already used what I can of the flower varieties, but these are my extras. And so I'll be selling them on Facebook, honestly, to try and recoup some of my potting soil cost, seed cost, all of that kind of stuff. I've already sold one flat full. It had 19 different pots in there. And so anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's a good plan. But so these are my leftovers. Tithonia, zinnia, actually, no, this is the pinwheel mix. I won't be selling the zinnias. I think I might be using, if it's a dwarf zinnia, I'll be using it in my front garden. But the rest of them, there's Gomphrena globosa. I've already used everything that I could of that. So the zinnia queen limes, I just don't have any more room for them. I did pop them in my garden, but I mean, yeah. And so here is more zinnias, zinnia dreamland mix. They did not, I only had 2 out of probably 9 that I sowed, but I mean, they were my own seeds and I never know, like, is this seed, viable, that kind of stuff. So it could have just been that I had collected seeds that weren't viable. This is, I'm excited about these. Zinnia Chippendale Daisy from Eden Brothers, I think. And they did really well. I just have not been able to get those planted anywhere yet. And that's another one that I'm like, where am I going to fit them? But I'm so excited about them. Okay, and then I've got Zinnia State Fair here and Cactus Mix Zinnia there. This is Thunbergia, a mix of yellow, orange, and white. Although these are the seeds from last year. I grew these. It was supposed to be a mix, but really, truly, they were all yellow, like this yellow-orange color. I had tried a new variety of Thunbergia, what was it called? Sunset something. It was purchased on Amazon, but it was the Park Seed Company's website on Amazon, and $6 for 10 seeds. And they sent me seeds. I didn't pay attention. I just planted them. They never germinated. Not a single one germinated. Then I looked at the reviews. The reviews were saying, hey, here's where the date is for the seed packet. They sold me really, really old ones. Like the people that reviewed it, it was from 2007, the seeds were. And so I looked at mine because thankfully I saved my seed packet. My seed packet said they were from 1940. I don't even know if Park Seed was around in 1940, but exactly where the date is supposed to be, it says 1940. And if that's the case, no wonder none of them germinated. I got a refund and I dug up my seeds and sent them back because on Amazon you have to send something back to get a refund. And so I dug them up and I sent them back and I got a refund. But just an FYI, I'm bummed because I was trying a new variety that was going to be peaches and pinks, and it's just not going to happen. But I love the yellow ones. They are growing and they're doing well. This is one of my Desert Rose seedlings. This one is 2 years old, and it was overwintered in my home. I'm hoping that this one flowers for me this year. I don't see any buds yet, but I think it's mature enough to flower, and I sure hope it gives me flowers. But super excited about that. This is more of my bunny tail grass. Again, don't know what to do with it because I used it in the container that I want to. Not sure. This is catnip the seeds are like 3 years old, but I decided to try anyway and growing them for my backyard garden cat. So see if she likes those, but those are doing good. This is Verbena bonariensis. See how well that did? Oh my goodness. I took one from it. And because they're so large, like that one is going there. There's one area of my backyard garden that I'm thinking of planting Verbena bonariensis. I have to take something out in order to put that in to make room. But I can't think of any other areas that I have that much room. So I'm probably going to be selling a lot of these or giving them away. This is coral honeysuckle. I actually noticed my I have a coral honeysuckle vine in my garden, and the vine got buried last year. I didn't realize that, and it rooted itself twice. So here's a baby, and then here's a good one. Look at how big that one is already. So I'm probably gonna give that to my neighbor. She's not ready for it yet. I got into these today. This is a type of gomphrena called QIS Fiery Sunrise. Super excited about that variety because it's going to be reds and oranges and yellows, I think. And then this is, I haven't used it yet, but I am going to do this in a container for sure, I think, or maybe in my front garden border. But this is a variety of gomphrena that's a dwarf. So it's called Gomphrena Buddy Purple. And these are supposed to only get, I think, 18 inches tall at the most, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited about those. I've got 2 more desert rose seedlings here. You can see I grew these last year. I was not successful in germinating any of my desert rose seeds this year. And I think the reason is because I tried to winter sow them. Don't winter sow desert rose. At least in my experience, it doesn't work. But that's okay. I have seedlings. We're good. These are all the extra amaranth Love Lies Bleeding that I just, because it's such a big plant, I can't fit it anymore. And then I have some extra Chinese forget-me-nots. I've put these everywhere, and I grew a ton of them. And so those are extras. I have strawberries, again, that propagated themselves last year. So I potted those up and can't figure out where to put those. These, though, I do have a spot for these. This is Columbine Double Mix, winter sown February 7th, and they just are not quite ready yet, but they will be soon. And I will be putting these in some part shade locations of my garden. And then this is Mammoth Dill. Again, I'm growing this for swallowtail butterflies. This is a host plant for them. I'm really excited to try and maybe get some caterpillars. We'll see. Yeah, that's exciting. And we've come full circle, I think, here. Over here, I've got some other things. So these are dwarf zinnias that have been potted up. They're going to go in my front border. They're dwarf varieties. It's like Zinnia Zahara mix and Zinnia Pinwheel mix. And then I only have 2 so far of Zinnia Profusion double hot cherry. I have 2 more Zinnia hot cherry over there somewhere. I didn't show it to y'all, but I do. And so those just weren't ready to be potted up yet. But these are going to go in my front border, front garden. But right now, I've got matrix pansies that are looking amazing. And so I'm not going to pull those up yet. I'm going to let these guys get a little more mature. And then I will put those in the front border. And then these are Billy Buttons or Cresspedia. I've saved these for a friend. She has a channel on YouTube and does very well as well. She has more of a farm, whereas I'm more of like a home gardener. She is a cut flower gardener, like a vegetable gardener. So check her out. Her name is Kendall at Joyful Farmer. So look for Joyful Farmer. I'll link her channel in the description box so you can check her out. But I told her I would save her some Billy Buttons, and she's going to trade me with some things as well. So that's what those are. Okay, moving on to the front. I did do my front garden containers in my March front garden tour. You can check that out, but a lot of things have changed just in 2 weeks, so I'll quickly show you some of the containers that have changed. But some of these are new too. So let me start over here. I just did this one today. This is one of my front containers going up the steps, and it's going to have Yarrow Summer Pastels, again, winter sown. I needed more room for it. Super excited about this. The Summer Pastels colors are going to be gorgeous. And then this is Azuratum Leda, so it's a blue Azuratum in here, and then a Creeping Jenny there. So I think when that fills out, it's going to be gorgeous. It's so pretty. I did do this container already in the garden tour, but just really quickly, I purchased these actually from Callaway's. One of my only things that I might purchase this year. I don't know, like everything else was winter sown. I don't have a need to purchase a bunch of annuals this year now because I got to have room for I think everything else. But this beautiful lobelia. These are Callaway's brand pansies. They look a lot like the Proven Winners new variety this year that's called Tiara Pink, which is why I purchased these, but these were $1.99 as opposed to some places $10.99 for those Proven Winners. A lot better deal. I do have a Creeping Jenny growing right there, and then hidden already is a white salvia. I don't think it's gonna keep up with these pansies. We'll have to see, but so far it's just being swallowed, but it's beautiful. And then this container is, again, some more perennials. So this is Creeping Jenny. These are Billy Buttons or Cresspedia. These cute little yellow, like the tops just look like lollipops of yellow. So cute. And then Blanket Flower, yellow and red, or Gaillardia. I keep wanting to call it Gaillardia. But anyway, Gaillardia. And that's going to be gorgeous. I just wanted to show you this Limelight hydrangea. This is a Limelight hydrangea standard that I trained myself, and I learned a lot training this. It's not perfect, but look at that. It's just coming back amazingly well. And this underplanting was done in the fall, in October, and it's one of my favorite underplantings, or honestly, this is one of my favorite container, like, that I've ever done. So these are yellow violas. These are pink dianthus, another variety of pink dianthus, another yellow viola, pink dianthus. So basically it's 3 yellow violas, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 pink dianthus, maybe 4 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then now they're all spilling into each other, looking amazing and glorious. It really, truly, like, wow. And then the cute thing is these yellow violas have seeded themselves. The dianthus might have too, but it's already flowering and blooming over there inside my garden. It's crazy, but really great container there. If you want a winter container inspiration, yellow violas with pink dianthus do amazing together. Mental note. This container I always do on my garden tour. It's a Carolina Sapphire Cypress. Over here, this is new. These Gerbera daisies have started blooming already in March, and I have like 2 more blooms coming up here, but they just started blooming yesterday. They're absolutely gorgeous. This thing will fill out this entire container and get huge. It's one Gerbera daisy. It's beautiful. And then my azalea has started blooming as well. So excited. Look at that gorgeousness. It's so pretty, and it's full of buds. This is, let's see, Autumn Sunrise? Encore azalea. Let's take a look. Oh, hang on. Nope, Autumn Sunset. Encore azalea. So this is doing fabulous. It's getting ready to just be in full bloom. It loves this location in this container on my porch. So that's fabulous. These hydrangeas, again, were in the March front garden tour, but this is budding up like crazy. I didn't think I was gonna have a whole lot of blooms on this because we had a late winter freeze, like major low temperatures in mid-February, and that is actually why you see these leaves curling. I did some research, and it's just these first few leaves that are now kind of curling and deformed. That was caused by, I'm almost certain, it was caused by that mid-February super cold blast that we got. And so I really thought the buds would be damaged, but they're not. It's remarkable. And I've got tons of blooms on this. But guess what? This 4-year-old plant is a lace cap variegated hydrangea, and it's 4 years old, has never bloomed for me. But I noticed yesterday, where are they? I noticed a couple blooms. I have to find them again. This one is one you can barely see, but there is a bud starting in there. And then, goodness, of course, now I can't find it. That is a bud starting in there, inside there. Can't quite see them with the camera. Oh, I think you can see that one. I hope it's focusing, but that is a bud. So there are flower buds starting in this. There's one. I am so excited. It's not just leaves, which it's gorgeous. And I always said, I don't care if it never blooms for me. I'm always keeping it. But yeah, I'm so glad I'm going to finally see blooms on this year. Moving on, I have a 3-tier planter. I'm not going to focus on this one because you guys can watch my March front garden tour. Nothing has changed, I don't think, but I just love this. I love it so much. These begonias are just being rock stars right now, and I love these colors, especially for spring. I just absolutely love this 3-tier planter. And then I'll just quickly show you two more containers. Again, I covered these in the garden tour, but there's been a lot of growth in just 2 weeks. So I have matrix pansies that aren't going to last too much longer, but this is Mystic Blue Spires, and it has been a perennial for me. I was able to overwinter it, even in a container. It survives down to zone 8, but I am a zone 8. And when things are in containers, you have to cover them with zone 8 temperatures. And I did, and it survived, and it's doing really, really, really well. And so that's super exciting. And then the same thing is over here. This Mystic Spires is mainly coming back right here. I don't see a whole lot of it coming back on this side of the plant, which is interesting. But this is Superbena Sparkling Amethyst, and it also made it, and it's got tons of blooms that are starting, and it's also mixed with some matrix pansies. So anyway, Superbena Sparkling Amethyst, rockstar plant. Wow, the best verbena I've ever grown, hands down. So there you go. I think that's going to be it for the container garden tour, y'all. So I just thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment down below. Let me know what you're planning on growing in your containers this year. Lots of really cool container combinations, and then we could all get inspiration from each other for sure. I'm always looking for more inspiration on what to plant in all of the containers that I have. But thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button and follow me for more. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.